In The Godfather, director Francis Ford Coppola introduces the lead character Michael Corleone in the most curious of ways. Almost 13 minutes after the film has begun, Michael walks into the sister's extravagant wedding wearing a full Marine Corps uniform with a non-Italian American woman on his arm. The choice on Michael's part and on the part of Coppola signals how The Godfather, though produced in the early 1970s, is a film that reflects on the mid-1940s, a time when masculinity was being redefined in the wake of the Second World War. Historian Karina Peniston-Bird argues that during the war, opportunities for contraction, transformation, and resistance were limited. Men did not have a choice whether to confirm or reject hegemonic masculinity. But what happened once the war ended, when men had to use their bodies outside of war? What happened when decorated war heroes like Michael had to come home and redefine their manhood without wartime's existing framework? This problem is tackled in The Godfather through Michael, but extends to every man in his family. The Godfather dramatizes this crisis of masculinity through male characters' interaction with other men. While Vito uses restrained movements to exert influence, Sonny's big, brash, impulsive actions take up space. Michael, meanwhile, takes a page out of both of their books, using his intelligence and audacity to command authority. Insofar as the film equates masculinity with power, these important male characters in the film use their bodies in different ways to secure their patriarchal positions at the head of the family. Vito Corleone controls his movements impeccably, using his body in only the most understated of ways to convey a sense of omnipotent authority over other men. This becomes evident as soon as the movie begins. The first time we as viewers lay eyes on any part of Vito, the camera faces Bonacera from over Vito's shoulder. Bonacera, sitting on the other side of Vito's desk, begins to sob at the plight of his daughter's suffering. We see not a commanding body towering over Bonacera, but an out-of-focus hand in the foreground, gesturing to a capo to bring Bonacera a drink and consolation, which he gratefully accepts. With just the use of one out-of-focus hand, the film situates Vito's authority in methodical action and institutional relevance. His is a masculinity characterized by the deference and obedience of other powerful men, a masculinity that doesn't need to exert power actively because the institution he has built on his own terms does it for him. Soon after the camera cuts to face Vito, we see him petting a small cat on his lap as he discusses matters of life and death with Bonacera. The cat, sprawled on his lap, luxuriates in his attention and infuses a playful energy into an otherwise dark and brooding room. Past critics have pointed to the cat as a representative of hidden claws under Vito's subdued facade. To me, however, a subtler detail stands out, particularly when Bonacera makes the grave mistake of asking Vito, "How much shall I pay you?" Vito immediately looks up at him from the corner of his eyes, affronted, and stops playing with the cat. He puts the cat on the table as if to mean serious business, stands up, and calmly confronts Bonacera about his infraction. "Bonacera, Bonacera, what have I done to make you treat me so disrespectfully?" The cat in Vito's hands is a symbol of the judicious way in which he wields power. He plays with the cat and gives it what it wants until he decides playtime is over. The Don giveth and the Don taketh away, so to speak. These few scenes illustrate what I would call Vito's calculated gentleness. His body language is characterized by restraint, which highlights the authority he draws from simply being the head of the family and being revered and feared by so many. Of course, Vito's authority changes after he steps down from his position as the capo dei capi. Vito becomes more of a family man, indulging in wine and time with his grandchildren. In an uncharacteristically tender moment towards the end of the film, we see Vito playing with his grandson in the garden. He presses an orange peel against his teeth to scare the child and lets him spray him with a water gun as they run through the orange plants. Poignantly, this is when his body gives out and he passes away. "I spend my life trying not to be careless," Vito admitted to Michael just moments before the film cuts to the garden scene. You would think that being a mafioso is more life-threatening than being a grandfather, so it seems particularly biting that during his most unprotected moment in the film, he dies. Vito's masculinity and power rest on the foundation of the institution he has built, but when he finally moves without formal restraint, his vulnerability is not allowed to last. Within the scope of being a Don, tenderness, when it's not calculated, becomes weakness. The weakness becomes apparent after an attempt is made on Vito's life by a rival family, and the film offers up his oldest son, Sonny, as a solution to this newly created vacuum of power. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe for more.